Game here. I'm just gonna record a quick thing for you here. So I know I've talked about it a couple of times, like how I sort of practiced my dodges and my parries and things. I'm just gonna show you literally what I do when I need a refresher course. So you go in here and you want to go into your tactical and then go into trials. And you want this first one on the left here. Now this thing, you just sort of ignore the clock for your purposes of practicing this. It's just you squaring off against one Tyranid warrior. And all you really want to be doing is sort of observing and knowing when to sort of when to dodge and when to parry. Now, I'll just load it up here. It gives you all the boogaloo, but we're going to ignore that because we're just practicing the parry and the dodge. So, what I like to do myself is I like to lock on to a target I want to focus down. So I do that by pressing the R3, and that locks me in, and then I'm centered on the target wherever I go, and I can see what they're going to do, hopefully before they do it, and I can react accordingly. So here it comes, and block. That's a knockback. Dodge. Block. Dodge. Block. 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 Dodge. Ah, you see, I fucked up there. It's the wrong thing. It does happen, especially when you're surrounded. The red ones absolutely have to be dodged. The blue ones can be parried for great effect, but you can parry anything that's got a power attack from the enemy. That thing there. So when you time it perfectly, there's like a little, almost like a little slow down. There you see, wrong button for me again. But dodge, parry, and if you do it right, you get a little crosshair. You can also dodge those blue attacks. Hell, you can dodge any attack. But just make sure that you absolutely dodge the red ones, because they will fuck you up unless you dodge them. Block. The fun thing is, when you get good at this, you have an unlimited source of armor regen. Because each gun strike, once you've done a perfect block or a parry or a dodge, you do a gun strike, which will restore one segment of your armor. Like so. Now, for some reason, that's restored all three. So, cool, I guess. But this plays into your tactics of survival. If you can master this, just taking your time running this simulation against this one enemy, take as long as you want. We've not been stopped, we've been running for over 2 minutes now. And just focus on him and look at what he's telegraphing at you and react. Dodge. Dodge. Block. Counter. Dodge. Dodge. Block. Dodge. Dodge. Block. And you notice that if you do a perfect parry, it will knock them back and stun them. That gives you an opening on harder difficulties, because in harder difficulties, when you hit them, they won't stagger as much. So sometimes it's good to let them sort of attack you. You parry them, that creates your opening to go to town on them. You see? I'm free to strike now, and that's opened up the execution. And that's that. So if ever you, like, just want to, you know, like you kill him like you have done here, you just press options, finish trial, and then you can just launch it again. And you can just do this uninterrupted at your own pace with the chainsword, which is what the tactical usually has anyway, and you can just master your reactions and learn the moveset of the enemy. Before you know it, you'll be fucking them up in no time. Just like that. And I'm going to hope to show you all this at some point when we're playing again. I think what I'll do is I'll get you to set up a share play screen, and I'll sort of sit on your shoulder whilst you play this, and we'll run a few of them, or for as long as you want to view it, and I'll just sort of tell you sort of like when I think the dodge is coming, when the parry is coming up, and you know, like riding a bike. Eventually, you know, I'll stop holding you, and you'll be able to anticipate it yourself, like when to dodge, when to parry. Because once you've got this down, the game becomes so much simpler, because you're not constantly, especially at higher difficulties, you're not constantly vulnerable and requiring, like, you're not constantly losing health because you've always got a segment of armor, usually. And your health will last for longer as well. Because even if you take damage and you replenish a segment of armor, the damage immediately goes onto that armor segment again. So, yeah. And as you've noticed as well, you know, if you are able to square off against the big ones and kill them quickly, that sort of not only staggers other big creatures in the nearby area, but it will also sort of disperse the horde a little bit. They'll sort of fizzle out into dust. So it will really help with your survivability. Tactical's like a middle sort of armor class, I'd say. Sort of like a middle of the road, sort of jack of all trades sort of class. And the chainsword's really good for parrying and for doing both dueling single targets and for controlling crowds. But we'll go into the utility of the movesets for the chainsword, I should say, when we play together. But one step at a time. I just really want to help you sort of master the dodge and the parry, hon. So that's why I've done this little video.